Hello there, lovely folks. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Friday, December 15th, 2023. We are standing at the Polderbaan, which is currently the only runway being used for arrivals. We have wind blowing from the southwest, and we've got a nice program for you guys today. Couple of 747s. We've got the very special what was it again? Journey to the Future, I believe. A380 also underway, and of course the updated KLM PHBVA Orange Pride, the 777-300ER, with an updated toothpaste swoosh between the orange and the blue. Expected around 2 o'clock, and I really was looking forward to seeing that in real life for once, so I figured let's start a bit later, do a bit of household chores before going out, and stick around until the Dreamliner, the Orange Pride has landed. I saw a lot of activity in the chat already. Good morning to all people joining already. Now, JD already gifted a membership just now. Thank you so much for that, JD. And also Jinshin just now already gifted 5 memberships before we even started. It is outrageous. Thank you both so much for that. If you just got gifted a membership by either JD or Jinshin, let me pronounce that properly. Don't forget to say thanks. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those new members. And yeah, let's hope we are going to have a great show today. Hope everybody is doing well. Already traffic coming in, the heavies. First heavy of the day, Turkish A330-200 arriving from Istanbul, flight 1951. Airbus A330-300. Years old. Its first flight was in March 2011. Busy on the cycling path as well today. And also my esteemed colleague, Pilot Sander HD, already at the premises, filming, making compilation videos. Do check his channel if you ever get the chance. He has been making compilation videos of Schiphol Airport heavy traffic for several years now. I hope you guys noticed that today the sound is better again. The ambient sounds were a bit hollow, a bit tinny for lack of a better description, and I was very dissatisfied with it, and I initially thought that my Sennheiser mic had broken, or maybe the cables got corrupted or something. Turned out I did more testing yesterday after coming home and hearing the bad quality. Turns out there was a setting in Ecamm Live which I use for streaming called echo cancellation. A checkbox that by unchecking it normalized everything again. It lowered the volume, made things more tinny, and basically made the sound far worse than when you haven't got it enabled. Delta A350. Arriving from Detroit, Michigan. Flight 136. 7 years old already. First flight March 2016. Folks, I also hope that the voiceover is sounding properly. If it doesn't, do let me know in the chat, because it is often a matter of just resetting it, turning it off and turning it back on again. 2 seconds of work, major improvement in sound quality. So if my voiceover sounds poor, let me know. Also, Reticent Guy just now gifted the membership. Mizam As was gifted the membership. Thank you so much, Reticent Guy, for just now gifting a membership. And welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. All new members. Erin says sound is good. Sound is fine. Everybody is confirming. Perfect. Well, guys, let me know if the sound, for whatever reason, deteriorates, particularly the voiceover, since I use a wireless transmission, sometimes is a bit iffy. But turning it off and on again, the IT solution for everything, also works for this. For now, everything seems to be sounding great. Great. Well, let's see. We have narrow bodies coming in. Embraer 190 arriving from London City, KLM flight 982 up first. Got an SAS CRJ coming after that. Maybe in between the narrow bodies I can also do a little briefing for you guys. See visually what is coming. For now, 2 Queens are expected relatively closely behind one another. I think in 15 or so minutes from now, if not less. And I believe there were 4 in total underway before I left to go to Schiphol. Plus the A380. Destination Dubai, I think the livery was. It's one of the colorful ones. Obviously, by the time it arrives, there's always the chance that the center runway will reopen. In fact, that is more often than not the case. But at least from this vantage point we are able to see it. And also glide slope shots, butt shots and glide slope shots galore for today. I'm expecting, because visibility is okay, it's CAV okay, ceiling and visibility are okay. Let's quickly dive into the briefing then. At the moment, this is the latest METAR. We have wind blowing from west-southwest, just under 10 knots. CAV okay, ceiling and visibility are okay. No significant changes are expected in the upcoming 2 hours. It's 9 degrees C, dew point is 7 C, and we have relatively high pressure, 1032 hectopascals. This is visualization of runway usage. We are standing along the Polderbaan over here. Currently the only runway being used for arrivals. Departures take place to the south, Kaagbaan and Aalsmeerbaan in use. And big picture wise, we have 1 Queen arriving from Jeddah already in the vicinity of Lelystad. We have 1 that is crossing the North Sea, arriving from Miami as we speak. Destination Dubai, colorful special livery from the Emirates A380, expected around 12:30 today, is now in Romanian airspace. We have another Queen, Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478, also arriving from Dubai, expected 15 minutes later, is now in the vicinity of Bulgaria. And then of course we have the updated KLM Orange Pride, the PHBVA, coming back home from Lima, expected just before 2 o'clock, and that is going to be the last airplane of the day for today. Right, back to the action then. Big picture overview, overcast, relatively wind still. Pitch looking lovely today, lads. No birds in the water thus far. Croatia Airlines flight 450 arriving from Zagreb, Airbus A320, touching down. And the first butt shot of the day in a few seconds. All right. Not a lot of separation between the narrow bodies today. The next airplane already touching down. EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick. A320neo. It even says it on the tin. Alrighty, good morning everybody. Already a lot of activity in the chat before I even went live. Apologies if I'm unable to greet you all personally, but welcome one and all. Hope everybody is doing alright. Hope most of you will be already having weekend. And if not, at least we'll be looking forward to having weekend pretty soon. Another glide slope shot. 3 airplanes, 1 shot. Our next airplane from SAS, arriving from Stockholm, flight 1553, Airbus A320, left 1 hour 38 minutes ago from Stockholm, and it is 17 years old already. First flight began in December of the year 2006. Right, time to quickly turn back the camera. KLM flight 636 arriving from Las Vegas. Flying AMS Live logo, 7879 Dreamliner. And it's one of those days again where if I don't press on the label of the airplane soon enough, I'm not seeing the flight time anymore. So that I have to leave out on this one. This airplane is 7 years old already. First flight was in April of the year 2016. All right, Air Arabia Maroc arriving from Tangier. Airbus A320. And 2 more airplanes visible in the distance. Let's have a look. Embraer 175 arriving from Zurich, Embraer 175 arriving from Prague. And that 747 is now approaching Amsterdam. I'm expecting it to make a right-hand turn and fly towards Purmerend pretty soon. More to the north on the downwind leg. Hey Ben, Who writes in capitals? Goedemorgen boy. Goedemorgen Ben. And all other viewers, good morning or good evening or good night, whatever time of day it may be. Welcome to the show. And indeed, the 747, the first of the day, the first queen of the day, is now flying to the north on the downwind leg. Thought I heard some birds earlier when I was following the Air Arabia Morocco airplane, looking around quickly but not seeing anything. To see an airplane arriving in the water. KLM flight 1954 this is, arriving from Zurich, Embraer 175, 7 years old, first flight September 2016. Boom, another butt shot in the house. If you say, hey, that was a nice pretty plane, I want to see more of that, you're in luck. Here we have yet another Embraer 175. This is KLM flight 1352, arriving from the Czech Republic, from Prague. Flight time at the moment, 1 hour and 16 minutes. 6-year-old airplane, first flight July 2017. And let's have a look. Her Majesty is still flying to the north, now north of Purmerend, with this still being the only runway in use for arrivals, and also traffic arriving from the west. There are still 4 preceding the 747, and it looks like it might be playtime after Queen time. Was zooming out a little bit on flight radar and I saw that the A321neo, I believe it was today, from play is also near mainland Netherlands. Might well be the next airplane after the 747. And Evelyn wonders if we are going to see Captain Wheelie today. I'm definitely prepared for that. Mind you, I believe all the major Embraer wheelies that we have seen so far have been from pilots piloting the Embraer 190. So we have to look for Embraer 190s, not the 75s, although who knows, we might get a pleasant surprise. But thus far, all the major wheelies from KLM Embraers were Embraer 190s. Hey Evan, morning, or evening I should say. And Max asks if Play is from Iceland. It is. It's actually the successor of what used to be WOW Air before, well, after it went bankrupt. I think the reincarnation of WOW is actually Play. Here we have Tarom arriving from Bucharest today with the 737 and not the baby bus. Right, KLM flight 1926 up next, arriving from Geneva. Boeing 737-800. And looks like there's also incoming traffic on the cycling path. So if you guys are hearing a car pass by in a few moments, that is the culprit. Hey, and Her Majesty is moving towards the glide slope. Beautiful. Despite the overcast conditions, you guys can see visibility is relatively good, luckily. Hey, Mr. Biker, perfect timing indeed. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Right, EasyJet A320 Neo arriving from London Stansted. Flight time at the moment 40 minutes. The airplane is 1 year old. First flight December 2022, so it is celebrating its first birthday this month. And behind it, the first queen of the day, Saudia Cargo 747-400 arriving from Jeddah. So let's quickly have a look at the landing. I'm not going to follow it through entirely, just look at the landing and then go back to Her Majesty. Right, solid landing. Right, Queen number 1, ladies and gentlemen, Saudia Cargo, flight 933 747-400, hailing from Jeddah today. Flight time 5 hours and 35 minutes as we speak. The airplane itself 28 years old. First flight was in January 1995. Where were you back then? I think I was in the first grade of high school. Or was it the second grade? No, I think first grade. 12 or 13 years old. In a much, much simpler world. Little bit of wind from the southwest, or west at least. You can see that Queen is leaning in a little bit, or at least looking towards us a little bit. It's not significant. They're coming for me, Jackie says. I like that you write that, because that means that you can hear it, and that means that the sound, the ambient sound, is good. I'm going to shut up now so that we can listen to Her Majesty in all its beauty. Well, that was definitely a very nice landing. Beautiful. And she's gracefully vacating the runway. More queens are expected though, so definitely worth sticking around for, ladies and gentlemen. Another queen is crossing the North Sea, arriving from Miami as we speak. Quick reminder, refresher of where all the traffic is right now. So we have another 747 that is already flying downwind. We have a special livery Destination Dubai A380 expected just before 12:30. Or is that 1:30? 1:30, I think. We have another Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478 expected around the same time, a bit later. And the last airplane of today is going to be the KLM Orange Pride, the PHBVA, which is expected at 10 minutes to 2 local time. This big flock of birds is flying over the glide slope. A Transavia just now landed. And we're just in time for playtime. Our next airplane, flight 460 from Play, arriving from Reykjavik, A321neo, left Iceland 2 hours 20 minutes ago. This airplane is 5 years old. First flight of this airplane was in April 2018. So ladies and gentlemen, members, get out your playtime emojis. It's that time again. In fact, also make sure you have the butt shot emoji ready, because I'm thinking we might get a combo. We can already see the contours of an AMS logo, AMS Live logo in the background. That would be Air Canada Flight 808 arriving from Toronto, which will land after this A321neo from Play. Haha, anybody looking in the chat will unmistakably see what time it is. It is playtime. Normally it's the A320neo that they sent, so interesting to see that today it was an A321. Nice combination with Her Majesty in the background still. And of course it is a playtime butt shot. Right, no time to waste. The Air Canada Dreamliner already almost landing. Air Canada Flight 808, Boeing 7878, a Dreamliner coming in from Toronto, Canada. 6,000 kilometers it has flown today on this journey. This airplane is 9 years old already. First flight October 2014. Alright, more Dreamliner fun ahead. The next airplane to arrive is going to be KLM Flight 758, a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Panama City. Now, let's see. Wait a minute. Hey, that is incorrect. I am missing an airplane. I am missing an airplane that is not visible on flight radar. I was already thinking this does not look like a Dreamliner. This looks like a triple. I was already trying to see if I could fit it over the logo in the bottom right corner, but I couldn't because we are missing a triple on flight radar. Qatar by the looks of it. It's not even a cargo, it's just a passenger triple. Probably one of those airplanes that has NA on it. Alright, so now now we should see the Dreamliner 10 and also Queen Numero 2 should be somewhere behind it. I think, yeah, bottom left quadrant at 7 o'clock of the number 2 airplane. That also means that the number 2 right now in the top left also not visible on flight radar, because on my flight radar there's only a big gap between the Dreamliner 10 and then the Queen. Interesting. I have to zoom out. Wow, too much. Can't fit it over the logo. Yesterday we concluded that the Dreamliner wings don't bend nearly enough to make it fit. Fake Dreamliners, fake AMS Live logos flying around the world. Anyway, KLM flight 758 touching down, arriving from Panama City, 787-10 Dreamliner. It looks so small from the front, then you have to zoom out and zoom out and zoom out and zoom out to capture it in full when it passes you by. And now it looks relatively small again, or at least not significantly bigger than the 7878. Right, so another mystery plane coming up, and then Queen numero 2, number 2. I'm also seeing some lights. That is, by the looks of it, the bird controller. Visually it really stands out. You have to really zoom in to see it on camera. Alright, well, another triple by the looks of it. Interesting. Is that another Qatar? I think it might be. It sure looks like a lot like the previous airplane, the previous Qatar. Huh. Interesting. What the fudge is going on with Qatar today? But this is the cargo triple. Okay. Unfortunately not using the reversers substantially, so no need to follow it for the audio. In that case, let us switch to the visual of Queen number 2. Number 8 worldwide, most tracked at the moment by 240 people on flight radar, Cargolux B744, arriving from Miami, Florida, where it left 7 hours and 22 minutes ago. This airplane is not the youngest, but definitely not the oldest 747 around. 22 years old. Its first flight was in July 2001. And HJS wonders why KVK is in the METAR. I don't, because visibility is okay and the ceiling over here is also okay. The overcast clouds are much higher and fall outside of the scope about which KVK is proclaimed. I hope the audio is orders of magnitude better than it was yesterday and the last couple of streams before it, because that was definitely a nice loud landing over here. And last couple of weeks the audio, the ambient audio, wasn't that great. Had to do with a setting in my streaming software that had echo cancellation activated. It lowered the volume, made everything sound tinny. Found that out yesterday. Unchecking that box makes a world of difference. Back to what it was again, hopefully. Right, well, I hope you guys can still hear me and your speakers haven't blown. In the meantime, also departing traffic from runway 24, another triple, coming this way, going to China. Also a nice indication of where the ceiling is and where the clouds begin. Right, back to the quote-unquote normal planes. Aegean with the sunglasses on. Now, I believe that we are also going to see a beautiful Azzurro ITA Airways pretty soon. One arriving from Milan. Servus Peppi. Auch wieder dabei. Herzlich willkommen. I think we're also going to see more traffic passing along on the cycling path pretty soon. They're still working. I think they were doing something with drainage or something. At least last time I was on the north side streaming, which is already granted several weeks ago, but looked like they were laying sewage piping or something. Right, this is KLM flight 986. Embraer 190, so might be Captain Wheelie, arriving from London City. Well, if it was Captain Wheelie, he's not in the mood to do a wheelie. Or it was just another pilot. Now, Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, John, who just became a member. Thank you so much for your support. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. You have now access to all the custom emojis. Hope you like it in the lounge. Thank you so much for your support and welcome to the club. We've got another truck coming this way. Rather busy, actually. Or is that the same truck having turned and returning? Not sure. Seems that it is a machine to get rid of asphalt. Don't know what it is called in English. In Dutch it is a freesmachine. Or at least it said frees mij on the truck and on the machine that was on the trailer. I think that's to remove the top surface of the asphalt of the road. Now, thank you so much Jonas, who just now gifted an AMS Live membership. Kevin H got gifted the membership that Jonas just now gifted. Thank you so much Jonas. Kevin, thank you so much for, or welcome I should say, to you. Thank you to Jonas. Welcome to Kevin. Don't forget to say thank you Kevin. Welcome to the club. And thank you so much Jonas. Right. Vrees niet, Michiel says. Fear not. We'll scrape everything, every bit of fear away. Right. ITA Airways, I should say, flight 120, Airbus 320, flight time 131 hours, 1 hour 31 minutes, 15-year-old airplane, first flight December 2008, arriving from Milan. We've got another Delta Airlines A350 behind it, flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Now, regardless of the weather, the ITA Azzurro always looks nice. I think most of you will agree with that. Even though it might be blasphemy, I think I like this blue better than KLM blue. Che bello! As the A350 makes its way over, I'm crouching behind the laptop once again, trying to find that highlighted message I want to highlight, namely that John just now gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that, John. Very generous of you. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 5 new members. Don't forget to say thank you to John. And welcome to the club, those new members. Now, custom emojis at your disposal, new members. One of them is the A350. This is Delta Airlines flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. A350-900. Flight time no longer mentioned on flight radar. That hiccup I've been having on the phone app. It is 5 years old though. It still says that. People asking about the Orange Pride. Let me take you through the pipeline, the agenda for today. It's expected just before 2 o'clock. And before that we are going to see a special livery of the Emirates A380 as well. So big picture wise we are looking at the Orange Pride, the last airplane of the day, now expected around 1:50 p.m. local time, still over the ocean, arriving from Lima, from Peru. The Cargolux 747 has just landed. The next big airplane to arrive is going to be the special livery Destination Dubai A380, arriving from Dubai around 12:30. Not far behind it, 12:41, 10 minutes later, a Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478 is expected to arrive. And the Orange Pride, the last heavy hitter of the day, 1:50 p.m. Current runway usage, I think, is still the same. Yeah, just did a refresh. So we're still at the only runway used for arrivals. Hey Gosse, goedemorgen. Lieve, goedemorgen. All other viewers who've joined in the meantime, good morning to you too. I hope everybody is doing okay. Our next airplane has sunglasses on. It is a Pegasus A321neo. It's coming to Amsterdam from Istanbul. Flight time no longer mentioned, but typically that is around 3 hours. This is a brand new airplane and it is brand spanking new. It began flying last month, November 23. A lot of you guys already mentioned several times before that once you've seen it, you cannot unsee fly pigs. Fly pigs arriving from Istanbul, and a butt shot to boot. A booty shot to butt. And Max, you're absolutely right. Knowing my luck, quote unquote luck, they will probably send the A380 to 18C. Well, yesterday we were lucky in the sense that we were at the right runway. We were just at the wrong position along the right runway. But we did get to see it up close as it had already landed and was taxiing back to the main platform area. Shortly after it landed, they also opened up center for arrival. So by the time I was done packing in, a lot of traffic was already going to 18C. Time will tell what today is going to bring. The upshot, at least the silver lining, is that when they do, if they were to send it to 18C, at least we can see it from the side quite well from over here. I could even engage a little bit of digital zoom. Better that it lands, if it doesn't land on Polderbaan, that it lands on 18C, then that when it's being sent to 27, then you can only see the contours. Alright, 737-700 from Transavia, but flying for KLM coming in, arriving from Copenhagen. Also a little glide slope shot, just a 3 airplane glide slope shot, there we go. Beautifully aligned. It's the Transavia 737-700 that KLM has rented from Transavia. It's the old standard livery with the rainbow. And not the monotonous green it is currently having. Now that's a good question, Fritz. Fritz was wondering if this month the first Airbus of Transavia would enter service. I do recall having read somewhere that they were planning on doing that later in December. You're absolutely right. I do recall having read something like that, but I cannot remember the exact date. But I think it was in fact somewhere in December. We'll have to look that up. Right, Eurowings. Up next, A320 flight 4348 arriving from Salzburg. Flight time no longer mentioned, but probably around an hour and 15 minutes typically. South of Germany, Innsbruck also, something similar. The airplane is 7 years old, first flight March 2016. Right, Eurowings buckshot coming in. Ah, thanks Lars. December 19th, the A321neo from Transavia will begin and arrive in the Netherlands. Thank you so much for looking that up and telling us, Lars. Next up, KLM flight 1516, Embraer 175. Coming in from Norwich. Hey, I think the center runway is opening up. And we'll enter a time frame of parallel arrivals for a short while. Now let's see, it is 11 o'clock. So hopefully they will keep center open until 12 or so, and then go back to single runway operation for arrivals, because then by the time the A380 arrives, at least we'll see that land on this runway. Next up, German Airways. Looks like the cycling path is almost blocked. Now, also doing a quick scan of the water. Only one could yesterday that we saw. Or was that? Yeah, no, I think it was a good. Right, so German Airways, Embraer 190, arriving from Stuttgart, flying for KLM, flight 1868. So Embraer 190 might be flown by Captain Wheelie. Let's see. No. Now, Evan, thank you so much for gifting a membership just now. Team Stripes Moo, the rebranding of Evan. And Gosse, you just got gifted the membership by Evan. Don't forget to say thanks. Thank you so much for that, Evan. And welcome back, Gosse. You know the drill, Gosse. You know the drill. All the custom emojis at your disposal for a month. Hey Gerrit, goedemorgen. Hope all is well. Ita, the Azzurro. This one arriving from Rome will be going to the center runway. Now, in the meantime, KLM flight 765 is also approaching the Polderbaan, arriving from Bonaire. Airbus A330-300. So let's quickly head over to that. Here it is, flying directly towards us. It looks like KLM flight 765 arriving from Bonaire has flown for 8 hours and 28 minutes to get here today. 10 years old, first flight January 2013. Not too bad, not too bad. Now, that's the birds I was hearing. Is that geese? Oh. Never lose track of your wingman. I think they have seen Top Gun and have memorized the lessons. Also hearing a fire engine. Where's that? An ambulance. Sounds like a... Well, cannot pinpoint the source of the siren. A lot of birds though. Definitely. Oh, I think I see some. I thought I saw a siren. Yeah. Now almost in the center of the field of view. Hope you guys can also pick it up on the mic. Quite well audible in real life here. More emergency services creeping up from behind. Now, anyway, Aeromexico Dreamliner. Let's not forget while we're here, Aeromexico flight 25 arriving from Mexico City. All right, now audio is still coming from that area. That's also the crossing where you can enter the place called Vijfhuizen. I think there might be something going on over there because I'm not seeing it anymore on the road it was driving on just now. That is continuing that way. Right, turning back so that the wires don't get tangled. Big picture overview, it still looks a bit dull, but there's definitely some blue here and there in between the clouds. It's not very dense. I think in real life it is a bit lighter than it might appear on camera. Still a bit of wind. Parallel arrivals taking place right now. Got a KLM B744 coming up next, arriving from London City. So yeah, might be Captain Wheelie. Let's see. It's KLM flight 984. Has been flying for, oh, no longer mentioned. Now London Amsterdam typically 40 or so minutes on average. This airplane is 13 years old. First flight February 2010. I think it's him, Captain Wheelie. That's the right music. Level up. Hey Michael, morning. Doing well? Hope the same goes for you, my friend. Good to see you being able to capture a live stream once again. Hope you can stick with us until the end. Of course, I hope that goes for everybody because we are still waiting for a very special colorful livery from the Emirates A380, this Destination Dubai, and also of course the updated orange pride with the swoosh. Let's also have a look at the METAR in the meantime. Don't think a lot has changed in the meantime, but it's always good to refresh and have another look. Wind more or less from the same direction, more or less the same speed still CAV okay, 9 degrees C. Also not much has changed. Runway usage, just another confirmation I think. Yeah, second runway for arrivals. And visualization of what is in the pipeline. The KLM Orange Pride, the last airplane of today, expected just before 2 o'clock. The Emirates A380 special livery, the Destination Dubai, still expected just before 12:30. And not too long after that, we are expecting a 7478 from Cathay Pacific Cargo. Now, another German Airways Embraer 190 flying for KLM, arriving from Bristol. Hey! Firefighters patrolling. They're late. 11:15. Did not expect to see them today, so pleasantly surprised by that. Meanwhile, let me quickly copy paste that METAR that I just now copied into the ticker. Not that it is very significantly different from what it was. And arrivals, update that with 18 Charlie, so that everything is now completely up to date in the ticker. K3 also just now passed by, one of the Raptor Rangers, Ranger Raptors. And this is JetBlue arriving from Boston, A321neo, flight 631. Skipping the first exit, no butt shots. That machine that we saw on the cycling path now seems to be ready to spray or something. Again, I am the most noobish of noobs when it comes to agriculture, so not sure if that is some sort of crop dusting device or right. KLM flight 1422, 737-800 arriving from Birmingham. 23 years old. Now, in the meantime, an influx of narrow bodies also to the center runway. Air France up. That must be the Embraer 170, or is that one of their other? No, I'm looking at the wrong airplane. It is in fact the Embraer 170 arriving from Lyon, Air France, flight 1794. Here too, the label already gone. Not seeing the flight time, have to be really in time to press on the label today. This is KLM flight 1072 arriving from Manchester, 737-800. If you look closely, you can see that there's a straight line between the blue and the white. This is the previous standard livery of KLM, and I believe this is the only airplane in this livery in the fleet still flying. Returning from Manchester, this airplane has been flying in total now for 15 years. First flight was in January 2008. Optimus Toaster confirming it is a crop sprayer, so they are doing some crop dusting with that machine. Right, I'm also hearing a familiar sound. Let's turn back the camera. The firefighters are patrolling and passing by. Let's see if we can get them to sound the horn. If you like firefighters sounding their horn, don't forget to drop a like. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams in the future. Here, another KLM Embraer. And returned from Aberdeen. And more Embraers coming in. Let me go back to manual focus. There we go, everything picture perfect. Arriving from Nuremberg. However, we have a big airplane coming up next. Flying AMS Live logo, arriving from New York JFK. KLM flight 644, 787-10 Dreamliner. Flight time no longer mentioned, but I'm assuming it is approximately 6.5 or so hours. Roughly the same flight time as Dubai to Amsterdam on average. This airplane is 2 years old. Its first flight December 2020. John asks if the firefighters are horny. Yes, they are. Nice. Well, probably won't be seeing the sun here today. Don't think that the holes between the clouds are big enough for any substantial sunshine. Nice profile shot of that crop duster or whatever it is. Time to turn back the camera. We have an airplane arriving from Nice, which is nice. It is Transavia flight 5582, 737-800. And again, not able to see the flight time. You have to be really early on clicking on the labels today. It is 13 years old, that I still can see, luckily. We are flying in July 2010. Hey, Herr Wolf, good to see you again. You missed a couple of queens, but you are still in time for a colorful A380 and the updated Orange Pride, if you are able to stick around until the end, that is. And there's absolutely no need to apologize for not being present. We all have very busy lives and other stuff to do besides watching airplanes, so right. Another airplane. Little bit of crabbing. Faintly visible. No, that's not. That's just. Thought I saw another airplane in the distance faintly, but just seeing a shitload of birds. Between us and this next airplane. It is arriving from London Heathrow. This time I am in time with pressing on the label, so I can see that the flight time has been 45 minutes as we speak. KLM flight 1002, 737-800. KLM style landing. Keeping up the speed relatively speaking. Parallel landings in full progress. KLM flight 1330 going to center, arriving from Aalborg, Embraer 175. Now, if you say, hey, this is a nice looking airplane, I wish I could see it a little bit more up close, you're in luck. We have such an airplane coming into Polderbaan next. It is KLM flight 916. It is arriving from Southampton. And it has been flying now for 5 years already. First flight was in February 2018. Beautiful stream of light. It is almost as if the heavens are opening. Very nice to see the one opening in the sky at the moment. In the meantime, this E2 Embraer 195 is going to the center runway, arriving from Munich, KLM flight 1792. Quickly back to the north for our next airplane, which is an Embraer 190 from German Airways, flying for KLM, arriving from Glasgow. KLM flight 1472. This airplane is 15 years old already, began flying in January 2008, making it just as old as Chucky and as the last airplane of the day, the PHBVA Orange Pride. They all began flying in January 2008. Now that I am noticing that the wind seems to be picking up just ever so slightly. Also looked like the airplanes have been crabbing a little bit more than they were in the beginning of the stream lately. Does feel like wind is picking up just a little bit. You can see a little bit of movement in the green stuff over here. Oh, awesome. We have another one of those hovering predator birds over there. A kestrel or something. This is me with the hands off the camera. Their ability to hover perfectly still. Second to none. Come on, focus. There you go. Again, it's making no movement. Hands off the camera. In the meantime, EasyJet just landed. Beautiful. Right. Let's see. Now we have an E2 coming to Polderbaan, arriving from Newcastle. KLM flight 958. E2 Embraer, 2 years old, first flight November 2021. And good morning to Klaus, who is tuning in from Germany. Herzlich willkommen. Right, Austrian arriving from Vienna is going to center. I was hoping that maybe the bird is going to hover a bit closer by, that we can see a bit more detail of it, but no dice. No such luck. Austrian flight 379 arriving from Vienna. A320. Flight time 1 hour 31 minutes. The airplane is 16 years old. Its first flight was in October 2007. In the meantime, we have Iberia Express arriving on this runway. Flight 3722 arriving from Madrid with a flight time no longer available, but a total age of this airplane of 10 years. The first flight of this airplane was in September 2013. An Iberian butt shot coming in. Now, Iceland Air Max 8 arriving from Reykjavik up next on Polderbaan. While looking at the way the smoke or vapor is leaving the chimney, you don't see a big difference between earlier this morning. I do feel in my neck that the wind is actually picking up a little bit. E2 Embraer going to center. Let's turn around. Is this the first of 2 Max 8s? Lately, Iceland Air has been sending 2 airplanes to Amsterdam, one after the other, with only a few minutes of difference between the landing times. Not sure, haven't looked further forward or zoomed out on flight radar, but this at least is one of them. Flight time 2 hours 24 minutes. Five years old, this airplane. First flight March 2018. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Not seeing any other Iceland Air Maxes in the vicinity. Parallel arrival still in progress. So many of Embraer going to center over here. We are going to stick with the 737s, however this is not a MAX but a regular one, an 800 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, KLM flight 1230. And if you guys are into 737s, you are in luck, because our next airplane is yet another 737-800 flying for KLM, Transavia airplane though. Not the old standard livery with the rainbow colors, but the monotonous green-white. This is flying as KLM flight 934. It's coming home from Dublin, Ireland. It's been flying for an hour and 4 minutes now. The airplane is 16 years old. Top left corner you can see the next airplane behind it, which is an A320neo from EasyJet arriving from Milan. Right. Next up, EasyJet flight 27802 from September 2019. 4 years old, A320neo. Today coming home, or at least coming home, I should say, coming to Amsterdam from Milan, where it left an hour and 37 minutes ago. No new traffic on the glide slope behind it just yet. There is only 2 Embraer arriving from Edinburgh that is now flying base. After this airplane has landed, let's see if we can capture it turning final. Not sure if visibility will allow us to see it, but we'll at least be able to give it a go. Firefighters have returned to their station. Not sure if they already tested their equipment or if we might get to see that still. In the meantime, I'm crouching behind my computer and highlight the message of Westwood, who just became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Westwood. Thanks for the support. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Hope you enjoy it over here. All the custom emojis now at your disposal. Welcome to the club and thank you so much for your support there. Now folks, if you're liking what you have been seeing so far and you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop a like, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams. You'll get notified, provided that YouTube does not malfunction. Now, In the meantime, that E2 Embraer has already turned onto the glide slope according to flight radar. I think we already see it over there, just a faint dot of light. The E2 Embraer from KLM, flight 1278, arriving from Edinburgh, which I probably mispronounce. But there you go, Edinburgh. E2 Embraer, flight time 54 minutes, brand new airplane, began flying in June this year. E2 Embraers have been having some issues with their engines, which is also why you're still seeing Embraer 190s from German Airways flying for KLM. They're rentals or leases, and I believe it was at least until the end of the winter season that they are going to continue doing so. So the license for chocolate to reach special livery we are still going to be able to see for a few more months on a somewhat regular basis. After that, I don't know if we are going to see it ever again. Might free up a slot for a new emoji then, but cross that bridge when we get there. Traffic seems to be a bit slow. I'm also not seeing any traffic going to center at the moment. Also, the question is how much longer is center going to stay open for arrivals? Could also be that around 11:40 they are switching it up again, which will often mean Polderbaan being once again the only runway for arrivals. Now, John celebrates 2 months of membership and writes, "Thanks for a great stream as ever." Thank you so much, John, for your continued membership and support. Hope that you are going to stay a valued member for many more months to come, John. Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words. Doing the best I can. En Han, goedemorgen. You missed 2 747s thus far. The third one is still underway. The Destination Dubai A380 is still underway. And of course the updated toothpaste swoosh KLM PHBVA Orange Pride also still expected, which will likely be the last airplane of the day. Now, also a big thank you to Patrick for your super chat. Enjoying here from Haarlem. Keep up the good work. Patrick, thank you so much. Let me turn the camera towards Haarlem. See if we can see you wave. Looking, not seeing it. You have to wave harder, Patrick. Thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Glad you're enjoying. Hope everybody is. And also, JD, thank you so much for gifting another 5 memberships just now. Above and beyond, totally uncalled for, but very much appreciated nonetheless. Those 5 new members, don't forget to say thank you to JD if you were one of them who got gifted a membership. JD, thank you so much. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, the 5 new members. Now, there is another airplane coming, another Embraer 190. Is it? Yeah, it does look like it is. Is it underway to the Polderbaan? I think it is. I think we see it. Question now becomes, are we still in a parallel landing configuration, or has the Polderbaan become the only runway in use for arrivals once again? Let's have a quick look. Let's do a refresh. Well, Nothing has changed according to LVNL, which is the website of Air Traffic Control Netherlands, but that doesn't say a lot because they are always a bit behind. Could well be they often change runway configuration around 11:40. Could be that this will no longer be red if I refresh in a couple of minutes. For those new to the channel or unfamiliar possibly with the layout of Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, we are standing along this runway, which has been in use for arrivals throughout the morning and will likely continue to be in use all day. We're standing approximately here, and yeah, this is the Polderbaan. This runway often being used as a secondary runway when inbound traffic gets a bit more heavy. And while adjusting the camera just a little bit and the zoom, while we are at it, let me also show you guys visually what we are expecting. 3 more airplanes that I'm going to stick around for. The 2 first airplanes are the Destination Dubai Special Livery A380 that is flying over the heartland of Germany and a bit to the south, and expected 10 minutes or 15 minutes later is a 7478 from Cathay Pacific Cargo. Now, if we have parallel arrivals, we might see them both go to the center runway. This one will most likely land on our runway. It is the KLM Orange Pride, and it is now expected 5 minutes to 2 p.m. local time. That's going to be the last airplane of today's show, and the one I'm going to stick around for. Near certain that it's going to land on this runway, unless they are going to close this runway, which, given the prevailing winds, does not seem very probable, very likely. And the second MAX 8 from Iceland Air is also approaching. So they have sent 2 once again, spaced out a bit more than a couple of minutes today. And the BizJet going to runway 22. NetJets arriving from Antwerp. Bombardier Challenger 350. Visibility is okay. The airplane, though, is rather small. Will we be able to see it? Not seeing it yet. I'm just pointing the camera in the general direction of where I'm expecting to see it, if I am able to see it. I have succeeded in tracking BizJets, but for now I'm going to forgo it. A bit boring. A bit more interesting is looking at airplanes taking off from runway 24. This looks like a Delta A330, having successfully left the Earth. Also hearing traffic behind me on the cycling path. An excavator, or is it called differently? This is called an excavator in English, isn't it? Or right, 1 dot of light found. Somewhere over there we should also make out a MAX 8 if visibility does allow us to see it. It should be a MAX 8 approaching the glide slope from the left, turning onto it. I think it might be a bit lower. If we are able to see it, that is. Which would be the second MAX 8 from Iceland Air. The airplane that we are now seeing is a 737-800 from KLM, all the way from Brussels. Still amazed by the fact that airplanes fly between the likes of Düsseldorf, Brussels, really close by destinations. Now the MAX 8 more or less has become visible. I think the third airplane might be a bit easier to spot. Now, according to Flight Radar, also turning onto the glide slope, an Airbus A330 arriving from piece of shit? No, that can't be right. Port of Spain. Right, first of all, this airplane arriving all the way from Brussels. Haha. Kisses from Gabriella. Goedemorgen. I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Hope the same goes for you. Ronald says, my stream isn't crisp and unclear. Did you know that? Could be that it has to do with the settings on your computer. Unless you guys are all experiencing it. Then it is the bitrate, but it's more likely the resolution that YouTube sometimes automatically down regulates and instead of full HD goes to a lower resolution. Crystal clear, ja. Probably de resolutie-instellingen, Ronald. Moet je eventjes op dat tandwieltje drukken. Dan moet je even kijken of hij daar op 1080 staat. De settings cogwheel. Right. Second Iceland Air MAX 8. Also yellow orangey stripe on the tail. Previous one also had it. That was flight 506, this is flight 500, another MAX 8 arriving from Reykjavik. Right, time for KLM flight 787, which of course isn't a Boeing 787 but an Airbus A330-200 arriving from Port of Spain. Flight time 8 hours and 1 minute as we speak. This Airbus is 17 years old in total. Began flying as a professional airplane in April of the year 2006. Laat vooral ook even weten of het gelukt is, Ronald. Do let us know if you succeeded in changing the settings, if that was in fact the underlying reason. It looked a bit blurry. And Max, it is a running gag. KLM flight 787 flown by an Airbus. Flight 330 would be flown by a triple or something like that. They constantly do that. It's a running gag within KLM, I'm sure of it. Noise. Not the longest of wheelies, but definitely a nice one. Also nice to see a heavy for a change once again. Okay, Ronald succeeded in changing the settings. It was the settings. Yeah, it is a bit tricky. It often says that it is HD, but if you look closely you can see that it is a lower resolution, and then typically it is on auto, and if you manually switch it to HD 1080 it should get better again. Next up is KLM flight 706, arriving from Rio de Janeiro, a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner, the mid-size version. Flight time 10 hours and 48 minutes. This airplane has been flying now for 6 years in total. First flight July 2017. See the curvature. This is a fake AMS Live logo. It's a counterfeit. Do not buy it. This is fake. Nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Two airplanes relatively closely behind each other. One is at 4,000 feet. That's a BizJet. Probably is going to land on runway 22. The other one, the KLM Embraer 190. Is it turning to Polderbaan, or? It's a bit confusing to see on flight radar. I think it might be turning. Is it? Well, it is turning. Yeah, looks like it might be turning onto the glide slope for. Yes, there it is. Bit vague. Bit vague, but there it is. Now, let's have another look. Runway usage. I'm refreshing. It still says that the same runways are in use over here at Schiphol. Though in practice no traffic is going to the center runway anymore. And right now we are looking at the Embraer 190 KLM City Hopper arrival from Luxembourg, flight 1740, flight time 42 minutes. The next airplane after it looks like it's going to be a Dreamliner from TUI arriving from Mexico, from Cancun. Right, well, pilot's son are still here. Also, a few other people in the distance, and if you look in the center of the screen, you can see some people also standing along the fence of the Polderbaan parking lot. On this side it is otherwise very quiet still. More traffic than pedestrians today. It's not the warmest of days, it's definitely not cold, but you can imagine that people prefer doing other things this time of year, maybe do some Christmas shopping. Well, you can clearly see still the remnants of the plenty precipitation that we've had over the last couple of months. I was about to say weeks, but it's more than that. My one flying companion throughout has been this bird. And even it is playing hide and seek. Has it captured something? Not seeing anything. Or does it? Does it have? Oh shoot, this is already fully zoomed in. Right, well, time to enable digital zoom. Where is that? Wrong page, digital zoom. Can we still see it? Is it devouring something? Yes, it did capture something. Oh, it spotted that we spotted it and thinks this is not a quiet place to have lunch. Looked like he or she caught a mouse or something. Right, let's focus on the airplanes then once again. And hey there, Madeira Aviation, good to see you again. Hope all is well. Rat or a mouse, I think we can all agree on that. Lunch, a warm lunch, fresh meat. This is TUI flight 225, 7878 Dreamliner coming back from Cancun, and pressed on the label too late. Flight time no longer mentioned, probably 9 or 10 hours or so, if I recall correctly. The airplane is 8 years old, began flying in March 2015. It's the PHTFM, one of the 3 Dutch registered Dreamliners from TUI. The TFK, the TFL, the TFM. TUI fly KLM. Registrations chosen on purpose to, as a pun, to KLM for having taken delivery of the Dreamliners before KLM did. Time for another German Airways KLM Embraer 190, arriving from Leeds. That is to say, there it is. Flying is KLM flight 1546, Embraer 190, arriving from Leeds. Flight time at the moment 42 minutes. This airplane is an Embraer 190 long range, 16 years old, first flight January 2007. And Heineken is saying that the Emirates A380 is incoming. Let's have a look, shall we? Where are they currently flying? Let's do a refresh of runway usage, confirming what we already saw in practice. Once again, this is the only runway being used for arrivals. Right, so the A380 approaching Dutch airspace. ETA 1234, the 7478, ETA 37, 10 minutes in between them. think that they are going to be assigned to 18C, given the fact that this is now the only runway in use for arrivals, and that hasn't been in place too long yet. I also see focus dance, which I had enabled. I had enabled autofocus for zooming in and focusing on the KESTREL. Back to manual focus it is. Now the Orange Pride is arriving from the west. Means it's going to land on this runway unless they are going to change runway usage altogether. But they are going to keep arriving from the north, which means that this is going to be the primary runway for arrivals all day, with center as secondary on and off in use. So it looks very favorable. Not let's not already. I'm sorry that I said that out loud. Don't want to jinx anything, but it does look good for all the aforementioned airplanes, in that we might see them on this runway. All of them. For those of you who want to see beforehand which runway is going to be assigned to the two airplanes arriving from Germany, as soon as they have entered Dutch airspace, you can look at Omgevingsinfo Schiphol and see what runway they are going to be assigned to. Keep us posted, I should say, if any of you guys are checking. QJ already says that the plane before the A380 is still assigned to Polder. I think honestly they're both going to be assigned to Polder because the runway closure was only recent. In fact, let me get rid of 18C in the ticker. Just 18R remaining. All right. Hey. Is that Russell? I also think I also saw Cheryl a bit more to the left. Yeah. She was definitely there. Now the loud one is always Russell, easy to discern. Also, Preacher celebrates 3 months of membership. Thank you so much, Preacher, for your continued support. Hope that you will stay a valiant member for many more months to come. Thank you so much, Preacher, for your continued support. And is that... what is that? There it is. I already thought I saw a 747. Looks like Suparna. Is that Suparna, or am I seeing it incorrectly? Don't have the... oh, shoot. Don't have the outbound traffic open on flight radar, just inbound. From what I can see from over here, it looks like Suparna going back to Hefei or Nanjing or something. QJ confirming it is Suparna. It's quite high already, which is why you can see why it's SCAF okay, even though it is overcast. Ceiling is okay, visibility is okay, we can see 10 kilometers or more. Only now is it beginning to enter the clouds. Oh, if that doesn't get better, I need to get that fixed. Bit of a noisy zoom engine. Motor, I should say, not an engine, a motor. Alright, well, once again, we are standing alongside the only runway now being used for arrivals, and it is getting a bit more busy. A320neo to begin with, arrival from Belfast. EasyJet, flight 23051. This Neo is 6 years old already. First flight was in November 2017. which makes me wonder, when did the Airbus A320neo actually enter service, generally speaking? Neo butt shot incoming. Max says 2004, I believe. Okay, so that means almost 20 years ago. I'm always surprised when I see 777s that are 25 plus years old. Then I have to think back, oh yeah, I do remember seeing them in the late 90s. They're that old already. I have the same with the Neos and the A350s and etc. that I think, oh wow, is it so old already? Has it been in service so long already? Maria asks for more sound effects. I have to find the right moment for the right tune, of course. Embraer 190 arriving from Helsinki, KLM flight 1166. Helsinki, typically 2 hours of flying. Now, another Embraer 175 coming up next, arriving from Humberside, KLM flight 1486. We already see the next airplane behind it, which is also from KLM. No, Transavia 737 arriving from Pisa, flight 5424. The number 3 airplane is arriving from the right. Will we be able to see it? It is also an Embraer 190 arriving from Düsseldorf. And Ton says A380 assigned to still unknown. We'll have to wait a bit longer, a few more minutes probably. Then we'll know for sure, but I would be extremely surprised if it were assigned to another runway other than Polderbaan. Then again, it is Schiphol, you never know. We have been, let's say it politely, screwed over several times before by ATC already. A380 to Polderbaan, yes. Great news, guys. Thanks for letting us know. With the Cathay Pacific 747-8 10 minutes behind the A380, it is very likely that we are also going to see it go to Polderbaan. Now the the Orange Pride is arriving from the west, so that almost certainly will go to Polderbaan unless they change to a different landing direction altogether. As long as it's landing from the north, Polderbaan it's going to be. Very exciting news, very beautiful special livery, and we're going to see it up close once again, this time from the right point of view along the right runway. Right, the Transavia arriving from Pisa. Alright, If you guys are into Embraer 190s, then the next 10 minutes are for you. 2 consecutive Embraer 190s coming in. First one being KLM flight 1856 arriving from Düsseldorf, hometown of JD. 30 minutes of flight time. Just goes to show how close by Düsseldorf actually is as the crow flies. 13 years old this airplane, first flight August 2010. The next Embraer 190 behind it is arriving from Cardiff. 56 minutes of flight time. KLM flight 1060, the number 2. 15 years old, first flight October 2008. Bit younger than the Orange Pride and Chucky. So if you just joined us, welcome to the show. You missed the arrival of a couple of queens already, but we are still expecting the A380 in the Destination Dubai special livery. Which has arrived in Dutch airspace and has been assigned to the very runway we are standing next to. So we are going to see the Destination Dubai colorful special livery up close within half an hour or so, I think. 10 minutes after it, we are going to see a Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478, also hailing from Dubai. And that is very likely also going to land on this very runway. And the final pièce de résistance for today's show is the updated KLM Orange Pride 777-300ER, the PHBVA, now with a toothpaste tricolor toothpaste swoosh between the orange front end and blue back end of the fuselage, which is going to be the first time for this channel at least that we are going to see the updated Orange Pride. Expected a few minutes to 2 local time, so just over 1.5 hours from now. This is the KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Cardiff, flight 1060. And Russell also in the grass along the tarmac. This Captain Wheelie, I think it might be. Trademark. Another one for the books. Another one for the Wheelie playlist. There we go. This is the right moment for the right music. Level up. Man, what a boss move. Effing awesome. Now, also a big, oh, that was the wrong message. New messages popped up. The message I wanted to highlight was this one from Preacher, who just now gifted 5 AMS Live memberships. Thank you so much for that, Preacher. If you just received a gifted membership from Preacher, don't forget to say thank you. Thank you so much for that, Preacher. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Those 5 new members. All the custom emojis now at your disposal. Use them wisely, use them abundantly, whenever you feel like it. Definitely use them when the A380 is coming in, even though it's a special livery and we only have the ribbon tail. QJ says that the Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478 has also been assigned to the Polderaan, so that's good news. Probably going to see all the 3 airplanes we are sticking around for arriving on our runway. Beautiful. Now the A380 is in the vicinity of Almere. In the meantime, we'll enjoy ourselves with the traffic that is coming to Polderbaan. At the moment, this is the first airplane arriving from London Luton, A320. Flight time 39 minutes. 12 years old, first flight December 2010. There is a Dreamliner behind it. In the top left of your screen you can see it, the KLM 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Flight 622 with a flight time of 7 hours and 29 minutes. First up, this A320 arriving from London Luton. You can see it is pointing more or less towards us. There's still a little bit of crosswind from the west. Wind has never reached speeds of more of double-digit knots today. But they're definitely leaning into the wind a little bit today. Right. KLM flight 622 up next, 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Flight time 7.5 hours precisely according to flight radar. The airplane is 3 years old, first flight August 2020. Gin Cathay spotter also in the house. Welcome back, good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. If you want to spot Cathay Pacific, be sure to stick around. 10 minutes after the A380, a 7478 will be arriving from Dubai. Both the A380 and the 7478 have been assigned to Polderbaan. And the last airplane of the day, expected just before 2 o'clock, is the PHBVA updated Orange Pride, which is arriving from the west. So there's a 99.99% chance of it landing on this runway regardless. First, let's have a look at this AMS Live logo, this counterfeit AMS Live logo. Which has landed safely on Polderbaan. I'm doing very well, Jin. Thank you very much for asking. My hands are starting to get a little bit cold. Haven't been using hand warmers or heated gloves, so that just goes to show how relatively warm the temperatures are actually today. Sally also here, Sally the seagull. Hey there, Sally, I'm waving. She thinks, what the F is he doing, idiot? Mind your own business. Just like I am. AMS Live bringing you flying machines from steel, composite and flesh and bone. Front row seats for the best flying machines in the house. Back to the old-fashioned steel ones. This is Transavia flight 5132 737-700 arriving from Barcelona. Sally is making a ruckus. What's that, little girl? We all heard you. I'm pointing the camera to you again. Now you're giving us the silent treatment once again. not giving us the silent treatment is this 737. Even though it is an idle reverse landing by the sound of it. More sirens. Ambulance this time. The emergency services getting a lot of action today, over here in the vicinity at least. 2 airplanes visible on the glide slope. Another glide slope shot, take it in. And I'm invading Sally's privacy. John is saying, well, I was here first. Embraer 175 arriving from Newcastle, KLM flight 962. An airplane that is 6 years old already, first flight January 2017. Followed by an A321 from Turkish arriving from Istanbul. Now on their A330s they definitely know where to find the reverse thrust lever. Will that also apply to the pilots of the A321? We'll find out soon enough. And Evelyn, Captain Wheelie definitely has been spotted in your absence not too long ago. I think maybe 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes ago. Unmistakably Captain Wheelie. He wheelied until the airplane was already past the fire station optically. Probably not in real life, but until the very end of the runway, keeping a very high pitch. Alright, Turkish flight 1961, A321 arriving from Istanbul, flight time 3 hours and 8 minutes. No. Meanwhile, left of me, I keep hearing more sirens. Yes. A little bit. Only a little bit. Evan says a lot of crips in this chat. Absolutely, it's blue all over. Alright, now, ladies and gentlemen, Embraer 190 arriving from Basel from KLM in the foreground, and of course the king behind it. Number 6 worldwide, tracked by 576 people. It is the Destination Dubai flight 147, the daily flight from Emirates between Dubai and Amsterdam. The Embraer, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to stick with the A380. We already saw Captain Wheelie, so there's no need to see this landing. Let's just stick with this one. The number 6 worldwide most tracked, 568 people. I'm sure we can do better than that if everybody keeps looking at it. We'll get it to number 1. It's a special livery, the Destination Dubai livery. The flight time, normally speaking, roughly 6.5 hours. Right now, 6 hours and 48 minutes. So it must have had a little bit of headwind underway. The airplane itself is 10 years old. First flight was November 2013, so this airplane celebrated its 10th birthday last month. Now, if you tuned in just for this airplane, there's definitely reason to stick around at least for 10 more minutes after this airplane. Cathay Pacific Cargo Boeing 747-8 will also be landing on this runway. That has already been confirmed. Flying apartment building, gradually moving in. Now, in terms of reversers, it was a little bit of a letdown. Still a wonderful airplane to see, of course. Now, in the meantime, I see 407 likes, 408 likes. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to drop another like, add to the bunch we already have. If you like what you saw, and if you want to stay updated of upcoming live streams, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon. Also, a big thank you to Austrian Wolf, Herr Wolf, Dankeschön, for 10 gifted memberships just now. Totally uncalled for. You're doing more than enough already as it is as a blue spanner, but thank you so much nonetheless. If you just got gifted a membership, don't forget to say danke sehr, dankeschön to Herr Austrian Wolf, and don't forget to enjoy the custom emojis now at your disposal, those 10 new members. Austrian Wolf, thank you once again so much for that. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have to go away, be sure to stick around for at least 10 more minutes, because we are also going to see a Boeing 747-8 from Cathay Pacific Cargo also arriving from Dubai. It has already been confirmed that it's going to land on this runway, just like the A380 did just now. A few appetizers in between, narrow bodies. This is a 737-700 arriving from Rome, KLM, followed by an A320 from Vueling arriving from Barcelona. If you really want to see all of the highlights while live, stick around until just before 2 o'clock. The last airplane of the show is expected to arrive by then. The KLM Orange Pride, the PHBVA, recently got an update with a tricolore swoosh, reminiscent of toothpaste to some, between the orange and the blue. Haven't seen it yet in the wild while on the stream, so that is going to be a channel first for us. Is that the KESTREL? I think it might be. I think it is. After having had lunch, now sitting over there with the postprandial dip. Now, also celebrating 6 months of membership, saying thank you, Jin, Cathay Spotter, one of our valued moderators. Thank you so much for your continued support, mate. 6 months already, and I hope you're going to stay a valued member for many more months to come. Congratulations and thank you so much for your continued support, Jin, and everything you do as a moderator, of course. Now, absolutely beautiful. Let me see if I can get it even a bit closer with a little bit of digital zoom. Just a little bit. There you go. Beautiful. More traffic behind us on the cycling path. Probably, yeah, chasing away the bird. Traffic, bird controller with the lights on, or is that the different? No, it's not the bird control vehicle, it's a different vehicle. A1. Back to manual focus. E2 Embraer 195. Arriving from Hamburg. Also, we did hear some fireworks. I am scanning to see if I can find the yellow pickup truck where the fireworks were coming from. And I think there we have the culprit. Well, this is with digital zoom on top of optical zoom. Also the reason why I refrain from using it as much as possible. You can clearly see it isn't doing the quality good, but sometimes when you see predator birds, for instance, it is a nice touch. Penultimate airplane before the 7478, which is already in the distance, coming this way. No, the last airplane. It is the not the penultimate, it is the last one before the 7478. This is Turkish / Anadolu jet flight 7768 A320 arriving from Istanbul. Just looking at the touchdown, and then I'm going to pan back to the 7478. Nice landing. A little bit of audio. Definitely wanted to let you guys hear that. Good reverser audio. Rare thing that you don't see very often over here, these days at least anymore. KESTREL Torvalk, indeed. Now, I think this is the third queen. The first 7478, the other two were 74400s. This is Cathay Pacific Cargo flight 2067 arriving from Dubai. Flight time 7 hours precisely according to flight radar. It's a Boeing 7478, 11 years old. Its first flight was in June 2012. And in an hour and 15 or so minutes from now, the last airplane is going to arrive. It is going to be the PHBVA 777-300 Orange Pride, arriving from the west. Also going to land on this runway, nearly certainly. Let's look and listen. gotta love the sound of those engines spooling down when they're done reversing. One of the best sounds in the game, if you ask me. And if you haven't liked it yet, definitely worth a like if you ask me. Beautiful. Now, I'm also hearing something coming this way, but apparently already above the clouds. I'm not seeing it, just hearing it. Departures from runway 24 still very much taking place. It was so loud it started buffering over at JD's in Düsseldorf. All right. Beautiful. Big picture wise, this is what it still looks like over here. Mostly overcast. Definitely some thinner parts in between the clouds, but it is still mostly overcast. This is looking to the west and I'm seeing a murmuration in the distance. Or two. Probably just one. Right, anyway, looking to the west. Where was I? Looking to the south. Looking to the east. And this is looking back to the north. We missed the approach, the landing of a KLM Embraer arriving from Darlington. But we are still in time to see the landing of Aer Lingus Shamrock Flight 604 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. Flight time, as we speak, 1 hour and 2 minutes. Airbus A320, 14 years old, first flight February 2009. Hey, Mark is tuning in from Brandweerkazerne Post Vijfhuizen. That is close by. We have seen and heard a lot of emergency responders passing by over the Driemerenweg, I think it's called over here, the N205. From the A9 to the crossing where you can go to the Polderbaan and also to Vijfhuizen. Ambulance, firefighters with the sirens on. Not simultaneously though, 2 instances. We were already speculating if maybe there was a fire somewhere. Right, Speedbird Embraer 190 arriving from London City. After that we are going to see a 777. In fact, can we see the 777 already? Just looking, yeah, there it is. In the top left. So this is British Airways Flight 8489 arriving from London City, Embraer 190, flight time 39 minutes, which is par for the course, now 40 minutes, Embraer 190 long range, 11 years old, first flight January 2012. And after that we are going to see KLM Flight 751 arriving from Guayaquil. Happy New Year. Bridge controller setting off some fireworks. We are going to see it in the background coming in picture in a few seconds if you look closely. can also see the delay between what you see and what you hear. The speed of sound only limited. Now, did look into some relativity videos on YouTube lately. We are all traveling at the speed of light, so we're all going the same speed. Except when you're moving through space, you are moving more slowly through time. So it's the division between moving between space and time that changes, but we are all moving at the same speed. We're just going as quickly as this airplane you are now seeing, believe it or not. It's just that time moves more quickly for us standing still here than it is for the people on board that plane. Right. Talks about relativity. How's that for an aviation channel? Let's quickly go back to the more familiar stuff. This is KLM flight 751 777-200 ER, arriving from Guayaquil, Ecuador. 19 years old, first flight, September 2004. Now, also a big thank you to Robert, who just now gifted 5 more memberships, 5 new members. Thank you so much for that, Robert. Very generous of you. Don't forget to say thank you if you are one of the 5 recipients of the gifted memberships from Robert just now. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 5 new members. Once again, a big thank you to Robert for gifting 5 memberships just now. Now, at the moment, all traffic that we see on Flight Radar is still coming to this very runway. Ambulance returning with sirens on. Interesting. Wonder where it's going to go to, because the nearest hospital is exactly in the other direction. Suparna in Hoofddorp. Right, glide slope shot established. 2 airplanes in view. Embraer 190 for KLM arriving from Stuttgart in the foreground. KLM B737-800 arriving from Manchester behind it. We should also see another airplane in the distance arriving from the right onto the glide slope, if visibility allows us. 737 from Transavia arriving from Napoli, but I don't think we are going to see it. No point in using those reversers, just roll with it. Right, once again a 2 airplane glide slope shot. First airplane 737-800 KLM arriving from Manchester. Second airplane Transavia 737-800 arriving from Naples. Third airplane is a 777-300 ER from KLM arriving from Sao Paulo. Evan asks what I am going to do for Christmas. Well, not much, I think. If the weather is good, maybe do a live stream. But I said it before, I'm not a very Christmassy guy, nor have I ever been. I'm one of those few people who doesn't have a Christmas tree set up in the living room right now. So, no plans for Christmas. I think our gym, the gym I am a member of, is open on Boxing Day, so might go into the gym on Tuesday. I think it's Monday and Tuesday this year, right? Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Right, this is the Transavia arriving from Italy, Naples, Napoli. Transavia flight 6412, 737-800. 19 years old already, this airplane. Her first flight in March 2004. And there is Her Majesty. That is she's no longer on the taxi route. That is already on the main platform area. So I'm thinking, is that then the southern threshold of the center runway? Could be. Could be. Let me zoom in on flight radar a little bit. Oh, that's already past it. Okay, so now we know approximately where to look for the threshold of the center runway. Just left of the fire station. Cool. Back to the triple then. Oh. I was trying to scroll back on flight radar back to the Polderbaan. It was a little bit off course to see where exactly that 7478 was. Now, if any of you guys know what it is I am seeing here in the water, do let me know. There are all kinds of, let me also focus in properly, all kinds of, looks like slime or something, drifting in the water here. I'm not oh, the autofocus, the autofocus has trouble focusing in on it. There we go. It's drifting all over in the water over here. I think it might be something that is being produced by some of the plants in the water, but don't know for sure. If anybody knows with certainty what it is that I was filming, do let us know. Well, Evan, I don't know for sure yet what I am going to do in terms of streaming around the holidays. It's always weather dependent. I hope I can go out, but lately, of course, the weather has been rather shitty. So, I'm not going to promise anything yet, but definitely something that I am keeping in my mind, in the back of my mind. TV Lowboy says probably oil. Is that oil? Looks like it is 3D actually. More than just superficial. If you look at this, let me see if I can focus in manually. Yeah, it looks like more 3D than just a bit of oil, doesn't it? Anyway, A320 EasyJet arriving from Venice. Austrian registered, 8 years old. Again, they're not being very generous today when it comes to using the reverse thrust. We're getting reverse thrust deprived over here. Starting to get itchy and uneasy. Cessna driver says, question, I will be in Amsterdam in mid-April. Is there a large uptick in air cargo flights during tulip season? I don't think that necessarily is the case, because we are also producing a lot in greenhouses, which means that supply is more evenly distributed throughout the year. I'm not sure if there is a particular peak in spring, other than that the fields out in the open are in bloom and Keukenhof, etc. are open. That of course is giving an uptick in in traffic in my living area, as we all noticed by me being late sometimes in spring. I'm not sure if cargo traffic is influenced that much by seasonality, because I think the bulbs are basically harvested at some point and they can be stored and be sold throughout the year. And I think a lot of the fresh flowers in the Netherlands are also being produced in greenhouses, because people want to have flowers in their homes year round. So not really sure if there's an uptick in air cargo traffic in spring. Nice way of reasoning though. I'm not sure if it applies though. I think it is evenly distributed. Well, Cessna driver, if you're in the vicinity and I am live, definitely come and say hi. You're always welcome to do that. Bear in mind that when you come visit me when I am live, that goes for everybody, I am very much involved with filming and also commentating and looking in the live chat insofar as possible. So when you actually come to visit me, I am usually not able to talk extensively. Some people have gotten disappointed by that in the past. I'm just trying to manage expectations here. I am here first and foremost for you guys, the viewers online via YouTube. Transavia arriving from Tosser. It's a Tosser. Arriving from Tromsø. Flight 5072. Now, let's have a look. Embraer 190 up next, arriving from Billund. And in less than an hour from now, the KLM Orange Pride is coming in. I see a 777-300 from Qatar arriving from Doha. Might be a candidate for using reverse thrust. Before it is an A320 Neo from Kuwait Airways arriving from Kuwait City. That is what I can see looking to the east. Also a couple of airplanes arriving from the southwest in front of the coast. Now, 2 airplane glide slope shots. Third one not yet in view. Second airplane that we are going to see is an E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Stockholm. So we now, and the third airplane will be arriving from Stavanger, so it's the Scandinavia return flights all coming in right now. That was more a bit of a stealth wheelie. Now, smoke from the chimney is definitely rising a little bit more horizontally compared with earlier. While we are waiting for the next airplane to arrive, let's have another look at the meter, and let me also update the ticker for you guys. So this is the last airplane we are waiting for now in the vicinity of Dublin. The Orange Pride arriving from Lima, now expected in an hour from now, 2 p.m. Runway usage at the moment still the same as before, this still being the only runway being used for arrivals. Okay, the weather has changed a little bit. Wind direction is now pure from the west. Speed not so much changed. Cloudiness has increased a little bit. Let me copy paste it for you guys. Few clouds at 1600 feet, broken clouds at 4800 feet. Air temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. Not much has changed otherwise. Let's first record the landing of the E2 Embraer, and then I will paste the meter that I just copied into the ticker. Arriving from Stockholm, KLM flight 1108. Obviously an E2 Embraer 195. Flight time was 1 hour and 40 minutes. The airplane itself, 1 year old, first flight March 2022. So, in an hour from now, the updated KLM PHBVA Orange Pride 777-300ER will be landing. I'm saying with a 99.99% certainty on this runway. All right. Hey, Mr. Master. Rick, goedemiddag. U hier? Right. Embraer 190 arriving from Stavanger, and after that it is the A320 Neo from Kuwait Airways, and after that the 777 from Qatar. Right. And Rick, you missed everything. Everything. Mux landed, Mux took off, we had go-arounds, we had crashes, everything. Now you missed 3 747s, 2 400s, 1 8, and also the Destination Dubai A380. So, not much. Right, A320 Neo Kuwait Airways, flight 127 arriving from Kuwait City. Brand new airplane, began flying in January this year. Will be followed by Qatar 777. I'm not sure if you're allowed to show your butt in Kuwait, but we are not going to see it over here, the butt shot from this airplane. And I did bring some kids along with me. Absolutely. Mike seems to be working fine again, picking up all kinds of ambient sounds. Here we have Qatar Airways arriving from Doha. It is a 777-300ER. Has been flying now for 6 hours and 27 minutes to get here from Doha. The airplane itself 10 years old, first flight March 2013. It's the third Qatar triple that we are seeing actually. The first two we did not see on flight radar earlier in the morning. This one is still visible. Now, a warm welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Jeffrey, goedemiddag. Thank you so much for just now becoming a member. Welcome to the club. All the custom emojis now at your disposal. Thank you so much for your support and welcome to the club. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And Rick, we have seen several E2 Embraers already, and also I think 2 Delta A350s. Yeah, I think both from Delta. I think 2 in total. Well, Mr. Master just now asked about E2 Embraers. Speaking of which, the next airplane, KLM Flight 1128, is one of such airplanes arriving from Copenhagen. Flight time no longer mentioned, but that is typically a destination of approximately an hour's flight away. First flight was in January 2022 for this airplane, meaning it will celebrate its second birthday next month. Nice to hear that the reversers are actually working on these airplanes. Now, a butt shot to boot. Can we see through the engines? I think that the early morning is better for that. More light shining through from the front to the back. Alrighty, let's quickly turn back. We have more airplanes coming in. Still overcast mostly, a few patches of blue here and there, but I haven't seen a ray of sunshine yet since I have been standing here. Our next airplane is an A319 from British Airways, flight 434, arriving from London Heathrow. Flight time no longer mentioned, but approximately 40 minutes typically. It's an A319, 22 years old, its first flight August 2001. I'm once again hearing sirens in the distance. Right, Transavia arriving from Valencia, flight 6336. It's a symmetrical flight number, 6 years old. And good morning, Harry. Doing well, thank you for asking. Hope the same goes for you, my friend. Harry writes, I heard that Boeing is going to build 747 again. That would be terrific news. To me, that is new news. I did not know that. If that is actually true, that would be terrific. The more, the merrier, if you ask me. If they are going to do that, I wonder why that is. Why that would be. Right, 737-700, KLM arriving from Milan, up next. The 747-200. Would that be? That would definitely be nice, Rick, if they made a rebuild of that. Put some GE NX engines on them. Oh no, wait, then it's just a 7478. It's the engines that make it special. Not sure if you would be allowed to fly it still here in Europe when it is so smoky and loud and fuel inefficient. Nor which aircraft carrier would want to have it in its fleet. Vueling flight 1377 arriving from Alicante, A320, touching down after 2 hours and 45 minutes. 9 years old, first flight, April 2014. little butt shot. Right, KLM flight 1666. Coming up next, 737-900 arriving from Barcelona. And some traffic moving in from right to left for us, the viewers. Now, the airplane is 22 years old already. The one that we are looking at had its first flight in August of the year 2001. Last minute reverser action there. Next up, A320 arrival from Milan, EasyJet flight 23853. Next airplane behind it, already visible. Really early with pressing on the labels. Here too, flight time no longer mentioned. Let's see if we can get the flight time of the next flight. Then that has succeeded. A little butt shot coming in, a neo butt shot. Boom, there you go. On to the next airplane, which is Lufthansa flight 2304, an A319 arriving from Munich. Flight time 1 hour 14 minutes. The airplane 13 years old, first flight November 2010. Behind it, and visible in the top left, is KLM flight 1928, a 737-800 arriving from Geneva. First focus on the airplane closest by. Traffic that you see behind it is the A5 highway, which runs parallel to the center runway. Part where the airplanes taxi from that part to this part is tunneled, so you will be driving under the airplanes taxiing over the tunnel. If you're lucky and you're driving there, you can see airplanes taxiing up close. Particularly today, airplanes that have landed and are moving to the south part of the main platform area will be taxiing south. Probably, well, now they can cross the center runway, so they can also cross to the west. If the center runway is being used, then they have to taxi around it, and if they go to the south, they will stay on the west side of the runway, which means that if you are driving on the A5 highway, you can see them nicely. This looks like a triple. I think it is. Relatively small tail. If you compare that with the size of the A380's tail or the tail height of the 737-700. Rick asks if it wouldn't it be cool if the A5 had traffic lights to cross the runway. Man, that would be awesome, but I think I think the ANWB would not be happy who have to read out the traffic information, all the traffic jams on the radio every 15 or so minutes. They would be busy 24/7 because there would always be traffic jams on the highways. Not A5, but also on the highways that are leading to and from that little bit of highway. Hey Mies, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. All other viewers who are still with us, good day to you too. We're sticking around until the PHBVA Orange Pride 777 has landed. Expected in just over half an hour, or maybe half an hour or so from now. Last time I checked, someone in the chat was mentioning it was flying in the vicinity of Manchester, so it's probably now over mainland UK still. Still has to fly over the North Sea then. Or maybe it is already on the east side of mainland UK. This is a special livery according to flight radar. Vueling loves Barcelona. Let's see what we can see of it. If it is really that special. Oh yeah, we do see Barcelona. Yeah, okay. This one at least is still current. Question: does Emirates still actually have airplanes that have the Journey to the Future livery on it? Because I did some time ago sometimes see them on flight radar, still with the old picture on it, depicting the special livery. But then when you thought it was going to be one, it turned out that it was painted over and it was just a standard livery. Is it actually still are there still airplanes flying with the Journey to the Future livery? Yorkshire says Orange Pride just passing over Sheffield, so still over mainland UK. Has to cross the North Sea as well then. Last time I checked, its ETA was 2 PM local time. So that means still 35 minutes away. Air France arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Where my dog's at? German Shepherd by the looks of it. Not a very big know-it-all of dogs, but I believe this is a German Shepherd, or at least it looks like one. Being very enthusiastic. Are you seeing duckies, mate? Or just your own reflection? Wagging its tail. Seems to be very cheerful about something. Awesome. Sally making a flyby. Again, I'm hearing a siren of a fire engine left of me. Right. KLM flight 1896 Embraer 190 arriving from Graz in Austria. Looking, not seeing anything. Was hearing a siren just now. Sounded like a fire truck. I guess it wasn't. At least I am not able to see it. Ah, Mechelse herder. Ah, thank you, Jan. Absolutely not a big knower of dog races. Thank you so much, Mies, for just now becoming a member. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you so much for your support. Hope you enjoy it in the lounge. Thank you so much once again, Mies, and welcome. All the custom emojis now at your disposal. Luckily, the orange pride emoji can still be used when it arrives here. They only updated the back end and we have the cockpit view, which is still orange. KLM arriving from Madrid. Next up, Transavia flight 5356 arriving from Faro 737-800. There we go. Faro in Portugal. Flight time for this airplane thus far 3 hours and 2 minutes. The airplane itself 23 years old. It's a millennial. Began its career as a professional airplane in February of the year 2000. Dre asks if he missed the orange. No, you haven't paid. It's expected to arrive around 2 o'clock. Still over UK, and we'll be passing over the North Sea to the Netherlands pretty soon. Time for some KLM Transavia 737 action. This particular one arriving from Faro, the next one arriving from Alicante, flight 6144 I should say. K9 on the right, K4 in front of us. Also, noteworthy to have a closer look at. Collection of excavators or something. A shed, I'm not seeing a potty loo. Might be behind the white red building. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 machines, and in between in the foreground, is that our KESTREL buddy? I think it might be the place where it wanted to have lunch but in the end didn't. That looks like the KESTREL. Right, Transavia flight 6144, 737-800, arriving from Alicante, 2 hours and 45 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 14 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in June 2009. Now, Rick, pay attention. Next up, E2 Embraer 195, KLM flight 1456, arriving from Nantes. Currently underway for 1 hour and 17 minutes. Its journey through life began in October 2021, 2 years ago. And Jackie spoke too soon, asking where the Embraers are. It's Schiphol, mate. There's never one far away. Never, never ever. Never ever ever ever. Now, seems that the police and the authority from Schiphol are having a chat on the bridge there. The Schiphol folks on the left. Not only are their vehicles overly yellow, they're also quite yellowy colored in their clothing, their work clothes. Indeed, Jackie. No, you're not allowed to come in. But we have fresh donuts. Oh, that does sound tempting. Right. Jackie, I think you might have missed Captain Wheelie. Captain Wheelie definitely showed himself today and gave away a nice wheelie. Now, come on. Odd zoom motor or something that keeps making noise when I'm not even actually operating the zoom. One World. Special livery from Royal Jordanian arriving from Amman. Not sure if I like the standard livery more than this one. I think I like the standard livery a bit better. But it is always nice to see a change for once. Now, next up, KLM flight 1958 Boeing 737-700 arriving from Zurich. This airplane is on the way now for an hour and 18 minutes. 14 years old, first flight November 2009. Liwe has to leave. That is very unfortunate timing wise. Of course, you have good reason to go, but the timing is a bit unfortunate. Have a great weekend, Liwe. We'll see you on the next one, undoubtedly. Now, 25 or so minutes to go according to the schedule. Last time we checked, I can see that the Orange Pride has now in fact left mainland UK, just northeast of Norwich, flying this way. Let's have a look. ETA 31 minutes. Okay, so it's a bit behind schedule. Looks like it is going to arrive a little past 2. It's getting a bit more busy. Wouldn't be surprised if they are also going to open up the center runway sometime soon. Not that that matters a lot for us, because the Orange Pride will land more than likely on the center, the Polderbaan, not the center runway. Although stuff like that has happened before in the past. Airplanes arriving from the west that we were near certain would land on Polderbaan, actually going to the wrong runway. I'm seeing 2 sets of lights. Doesn't show that clearly on camera, but visually it's very clear to see, given the relative low light levels. EasyJet A319 arriving from Southend. Short flight. Airplane is 15 years old. First flight December 2008. a butt shot incoming. Alright. More narrow bodies, more narrow bodies. Have to be a bit patient, but the orange pride is going to be worth it, hopefully. First, K4, passing by. Ignoring me waving from behind the camera. Or at least from where I was standing, I couldn't see anybody waving back. No worries. Our next airplane coming in, Embraer 190, KLM flight 1918, arriving from Gdansk in Poland. Flight time no longer mentioned, I was too late pressing on the label. I am still able to see the airplane age, and that is 14 years. First flight was in September 2009. And they're not even bothering opening up the reverser ports, or what's the proper word for that? Slots, I think. I think slots is the best description for that. How would you call that? Those things opening for the reversers to do their thing. Probably slots. With an O, not a U. Don't start thinking dirty things, you guys. Now, looks like we've reached another threshold. I see a lot of activity in the chat all of a sudden. And I see we have reached the 500 mark of likes, prompting JD to gift 5 memberships just now. Thank you so much for that, JD. Absolutely not necessary, but thank you so much nonetheless. If you just got a membership gifted by JD, don't forget to say thank you. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 5 new members, and the same goes for Tiger, who as a moderator should not be doing this. Absolutely uncalled for. Thank you so much nonetheless. Thank you so much, Tiger. Don't forget to say thank you if you just received a membership gifted by Tiger. 10 new members, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, all 10. Hope you enjoy the show, and the new members, sure hope you enjoy the custom emojis. Now, our next airplane is a Flying AMS Live logo. Let's see. Have to zoom out a little bit. It's a counterfeit. It's a counterfeit AMS Live logo. The curvature of the wings, you can see it. Not nearly curvy enough. So this counterfeit Flying AMS Live logo is from TUI, flight 361, arriving from Oranjestad, Aruba. Belgium registered. 10 years old, first flight November 2013, so last month it turned 10. I think I see the first airplane that is destined to land on the center runway on flight radar. And looking behind me, well, already got distracted by what I was seeing more up close. The hunt is on once again, the KESTREL. Because you can never have enough fresh food on the table. And that was Jackie's sister on board the Dreamliner just now. Landed safely. Safely returned to the Netherlands. Evan asks if I can catch an A330 Beluga on the sky. Well, mate, I wish I could oblige, but this is what the sky currently looks like, mate. There's no way I can see any airplanes up in the sky, any contrails whatsoever. So today is not the right day to be doing any hunting of airplanes higher up in the sky. The only thing that I can see is the traffic that is coming this way and is also now going to the center runway. The first airplane going to center, most likely E2 Embraer 195, but unfortunately Rick asks if I can zoom in through the clouds. I can, buddy, when hell freezes over. So just give me a call when that has happened and I will do that right away. I can also follow the ISS with this tripod and this camera, you know. Super easy. Do it all the time. And when I'm zooming into the moon, I can also see the flag that was planted there. Everybody who thinks that the moon landing was fake, you're wrong. I can see it. I can see the flag. I can even see the footsteps from over here. My camera can do anything. JD has to resign from the chat for the time being. I hope that you can still stick around until the last airplane for today has landed, the updated Orange Pride. But if that's not going to be the case, JD, thank you so much for joining once again. Enjoy the rest of your day and I will hopefully see you again pretty soon. But I think that is going to happen. Yorkshire asks if I can see Wallace and Gromit on the moon. I don't know. Are they on this end or on the far side? That is very much going to determine the answer to your question. And Rick says that I think that the Russians have stolen the flag. Nah, pretty sure that they haven't. Right. No airplane in the immediate vicinity for Polderbaan. Oh, looks like now temporarily all of the incoming traffic is going. That's also a situation that could happen. That right now all traffic seems to be going to the center runway, which is cool. If they do a runway inspection, better do it now before the PHBVA is in Dutch airspace. I'm looking around to see if I can see signs of a runway inspection in progress. Not seeing anything particularly. Star Alliance. Okay, so have we seen any SkyTeam special liveries today? I don't think we have. We saw the One World already. This is Star Alliance, so we're missing the SkyTeam. Oh, that was my that was my rubber band slipping off my finger. Star Alliance. What are these guys doing? Does it say T on the van? T12 or something? Is that the telecommunications branch? Might be. Okay, Orange Pride going to center, Paul says. That can happen. At least we will be able to see it from over here relatively well. There's always this little chance that they are going to center. Interesting choice though. Does that mean that they are actually closing the Polderbaan then? As a primary runway, as a preferential runway, that would be quite remarkable. I mean, it's not remarkable that they don't use it, but not while keeping another parallel runway open instead. Jennifer says they are only using center now for landings. Interesting choice, interesting choice. I wonder for how long that's going to be the case then. Well, I for one I'm still looking forward to seeing the Orange Pride. Let's see, this is fully zoomed in, so I will also start using this moment already to enable digital zoom, so that I don't have to do that when the Orange Pride is actually visible. Right, let's see what we can do when we add a little bit of digital zoom to optical zoom. So this is too much. There's definitely a little bit of magnification, additional magnification that you can do while still getting decent sharpness, or at least that's what it looks like on my 2.5-inch camera screen here. And that is compared with this being the maximum. No, we're already in the digital range now, so that is a substantial bit more zoom. That is still decent enough, I think, to be used. Alright, so this would be a 737-700 KLM arriving from Munich, flight 1794. 12 years old, first flight February 2011, first flight time 1 hour and 12 minutes. Let's have a look. Where is the Orange Pride hanging out? Right, it is approaching the coastline. Wondering if we might still be able to pick it up a bit sooner than when it is on the glide slope already. If it keeps flying the way it is right now, we should see it at some point, and then it is most likely going to make a left-hand turn, fly to the north, make a right-hand turn, turn base, another right-hand turn, and then it is on the glide slope final. And thank you, Jennifer, who confirms that this still looks good, so can use a bit of additional digital zoom on top of the optical zoom to at least get the swoosh, the Prodent tricolor toothpaste swoosh of the new Orange Pride visible. Bit of a pity. What does Bezoek Bas say with respect to expected runway usage for the rest of the day? How long is this Polderbaan closure going to last, at least according to the expectations? I'm just curious. Don't see this very often. Keeping center open in favor of Polderbaan. Hey, Mr. Vogel, good. What time is it? Night? It's already past midnight, I think, in Australia now. Alright, now Orange Pride should be approaching me from behind. I'm now pointing with my face, body and camera to the east, and it is approaching from behind me from the west. So let me turn around. Not seeing anything. Of course, I'm now losing the oh, what the F did I do now? Huh. Little droplet that touched my phone screen and triggered a menu. Hey Martinair, goedemiddag. Now, PHBVA at 4,947 feet. Not seeing it yet. I'm just pointing the camera in the general direction where it should be flying. I'm not sure if we can see it. What height was the cloud base? Again, I think it was a bit lower than where the Orange Pride is currently flying at. It's now at 4,600 feet and descending. Let me have another look. IJmuiden just off the coast. Could be that it is still in the clouds. Could also be that it is too far away to see or too low above the horizon. So I don't think I am able to pick it up yet. I'm not seeing anything. Which we'll see it regardless at the later stage. But for now, let's then focus on what we can see a bit better. More Embraers, damn it. We haven't had enough yet. It's the Embraer 175 arriving from Frankfurt. And it's morphed into a car. There it is. Oh wait. That's a bit too much perhaps. Next up, arriving from London Heathrow, KLM flight 1010. Why am I not seeing any menus pop up? Something going on with my phone, it seems like. Trying to press on the labels, they're not doing anything. Well, I'm not going to try to fix that now. Oh wait, now, hey, okay. Flight radar gave out. In fact, now my chat window also has gone. What the F happened there? Open up my last tab. Let's see. Seems that the chat is still running. Last messages from Astrid Wolven from Yorkshire. So let's see if we can open up Flight Radar again. Split the screen. That has worked. Okay. Now enable split screen. Okay, something seems to be up with my phone. Oh no, there it is. Maybe it is impacted by the cold or something. I don't know. Strange things happening. Not the first time. Ryanair 737-800 arriving from Dublin. I seem to be having a functional flight radar once again. Can click on it. Still the same glitch, not seeing the flight time, but it's probably just over an hour. 737-800, 17 years old, first flight December 2005. Just a few more airplanes before the last airplane of the day, the KLM Orange Pride, the PHBVA, coming back home from Lima. Let's see. The PHBVA now looks to be number 4. The countdown is beginning. And we're starting the countdown with number 4. SAS Flight 547, Airbus A320neo origin Copenhagen, destination Amsterdam, flight time 1 hour and 3 minutes, airplane age 1 year, first flight April 2022. Making a wheelie. Are you guys seeing that as well? Big ass wheelie. All right, the number 3 EasyJet arriving from Liverpool, flight 23443. A320 200, flight time 55 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old, first flight January 2010. After this airplane we have an Air France arriving from Paris, Paris, Charles de Gaulle, and the Orange Pride is going to be the next airplane after that. I'm going to be looking for the Orange Pride after this airplane has touched down. Whoa, grainy. Exactly the reason why I refrain from using digital zoom as much as possible. Luckily, this is the cold time of year and we don't have a lot of heat distortion, which is something that interferes with visibility during the summer, even without using optical zoom, digital zoom I should say. Right, got the Orange Pride inside. Let's have a look, shall we? Okay, get my bearings in. We're a little bit left, there it is. Boom. Oh, just in time to see the gear expanding. Nicely pixelated. Just goes to show how relatively easy it is to see footsteps on the moon with this camera, or flags. Absolutely walk in the park. So, last airplane of the day. Bit of a bummer not going to this runway but to the wrong runway. It is KLM flight 744, followed by 372 people on flight radar right now, making it the number 8 worldwide most tracked. It is a 777-300ER. Most of us will know it as the PHBVA as well. An airplane that is 15 years old, first flight January 2008, making this airplane just as old as Chucky, the Lycifer Chocolaterie, Embraer 190 special livery, German Airways, now flying for KLM temporarily. The airplane is returning from Lima in Peru, which is quite a lengthy flight. This airplane now underway for 11 hours and 7 minutes. And we can see the swoosh. Let's go digital. Zoom in a little bit. Absolutely different look than it was before. There was already a sort of swoosh, but on the border between the orange and the blue bit, it is definitely blown up. Is it an improvement? That's the question. I am not convinced it is. I mean, it is striking, yes. Is it necessarily more pretty? Not sure. What do you guys think? Do you think this is an improvement of the livery, or did you like the old one better with the gradient? I think I agree with JD, and Rick is agreeing with us. And Erobran is loving Lima. Excellent, man. Never been there, but I'm sure it is a lovely city. Alright, the last airplane of the day landed safely on the center runway. Means I am going to wrap it up for today. I hope that the weather will allow me to go out again tomorrow. If it will, I will be there. Looking forward to seeing you then. Thank you all so much for joining me here today, folks. I had a wonderful afternoon here and morning, late morning, early afternoon, and I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I have. If you liked what you saw and you haven't done so still, don't forget to drop a like. If you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams and you haven't done so already, consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon. Make sure that YouTube informs you whenever I plan another live stream in the future. Thanks everyone who became a member out of their own volition or who got gifted a membership. Those membership donators, thank you all so much. Thanks to everyone who super chatted or super stickered or bought something from the merch store. Your support means the world to me, and this channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. Thank you all so much. Thanks once again to all moderators who once again made sure that today the chat was a friendly and welcoming place. You guys are the best, and I'm very happy with you, and I hope that the same goes for you. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope that it's going to be tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day for now, and I'm going to see you all soon. Bye for now.